The garden was peaceful that afternoon. The sun rested gently on the leaves, and a soft breeze moved through the flowers like a whisper. The new kitten sat near the center of the garden, watching everything, not with curiosity this time, but with comfort. She knew this place now. Vanilla lay nearby, calm and watchful, her presence steady like the roots of an old tree. Chocolate was stretched out in the warm soil, eyes half closed, perfectly content. Waffle rested close, tail swishing slowly, happy just to be near everyone. Mew sat a little apart, alert but relaxed, guarding the quiet. The kitten walked from one friend to the next, brushing against them gently, checking in, making sure everyone was still there. No one moved away. No one rushed her. They stayed. She stopped beneath the tree and looked up as a leaf drifted down beside her. She didn't chase it. She simply watched it land, feeling something new settle in her chest. Trust. Later, the human came into the garden and sat quietly among them. The kitten climbed into their lap without hesitation. Vanilla moved closer. Chocolate rolled onto his side. Waffle leaned in. Mew curled nearby. The garden felt full, not of noise, but of meaning. That was when the kitten understood something important. This wasn't just a place where she played. It wasn't just a place where she rested. It was a promise. A promise that she would be safe. A promise that she would never be alone. A promise that love would always find her here. As the sun dipped lower and shadows grew long, the kitten closed her eyes, surrounded by friends who had become family. The garden didn't need to say anything. It had already kept its promise. The garden woke up slowly that morning. Sunlight spilled through the leaves, warming the same grass where so many moments had unfolded. First steps, playful chases, quiet naps, and growing trust. The new kitten sat in the middle of it all, calm and confident, no longer wondering where she belonged. She knew. Vanilla rested under the tree, steady and wise, watching over everyone like she always had. Chocolate stretched in the sun, rolling once before settling with a satisfied sigh. Waffle trotted around the garden, checking every corner, tail wagging happily, proud of the place they had built together. Mew sat close to the kitten, purring softly, eyes half closed in peace. The kitten walked to each of them, brushing against their fur, one by one. Not to ask, just to say thank you. The human joined them quietly, sitting on the grass. The kitten climbed into their lap without hesitation. Vanilla moved closer. Chocolate flopped beside them. Waffle lay down at their feet. Mew curled in tight. No one needed to move anymore. The garden held everything they needed. This wasn't just where a kitten had learned to play. It was where she learned to trust. To rest. To love. As the sun climbed higher, the kitten closed her eyes, surrounded by warmth and familiar heartbeats. The breeze moved gently through the garden, carrying the promise that tomorrow would come, and it would be just as kind. Some stories end with goodbyes. This one ended with something better. A home that stayed. The garden felt familiar, but different. Morning light touched the leaves the same way it always had, yet something new stirred in the air. The kitten stretched beneath the tree, no longer the newcomer, no longer unsure. She opened her eyes with ease, like someone who belonged exactly where she was. Vanilla sat nearby, steady and watchful, her calm presence anchoring the quiet. Chocolate yawned and rolled onto his side, claiming a sunny patch as his own. Waffle trotted the garden's edge, tail wagging, doing his daily check as if it were an important job. Mew perched on the low wall, surveying everything with peaceful confidence. The kitten stood and took a slow walk through the garden. She paused by the flowers that had bloomed, the soil they had once protected, the shade where she had learned to rest without fear. Each step carried memory, but also something else. Readiness. A breeze passed through, lifting petals and leaves into a soft dance. The kitten watched them swirl, then surprised herself by running forward, not chasing wildly, but moving with joy. Waffle joined her, matching her pace. Chocolate followed lazily. Vanilla rose and came closer. Mew hopped down to walk beside them. They moved together, not because they had to, but because they wanted to. The human stepped into the garden then, smiling at the quiet harmony. The kitten ran to them confidently, brushing against their leg before returning to her friends, bridging both worlds with ease. That was the moment it became clear. This wasn't the end of a story. It was the beginning of a new season, one filled with shared days, small adventures, and trust so strong it didn't need to be tested anymore. The kitten settled back into the grass, surrounded by Vanilla, Chocolate, Waffle, and Mew. She closed her eyes, not to sleep, but to breathe in the promise of what was next. The garden held them gently. And somewhere between sunlight and shadow, a new chapter quietly began.